What's up, what's up, what's up? Happy Thursday, everybody. Let's go. Okay, I'm just letting people in. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. Happy Thursday. We're going to get started here in a second, just letting people come in, but please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat and also let's hear maybe why you decided to join this growth group today. We're here to talk about getting your performance edge back, people. Welcome to GrowthDay. I'm super pumped. My name is Drew Bridewell. I'm head of product and design here at GrowthDay, but I'm also just a fanatic and about performance. I love it, performance. I love optimizing and getting better. And today, what we're going to do is kind of dive into 5 pro tips on getting your performance edge back. And I know we're just going to let people keep coming in for a second. So please feel free just to take a minute, maybe grab some water, maybe grab some pen and paper, or use your notes section over in the far right. It's the second tab in this unit. Or if you want to watch this, you can actually still go to the journal. You can go into your plan and be taking notes and planning while you're in this growth group, which is pretty cool stuff. So hope everybody's doing great. How's everybody's Thursday going? What's up, Bray? What's up, Lacey, Paul, Britta, let's go. Okay, cool. We got some more people coming in. Marlene, let's go. Cool. I'm just feeling so chipper today because we've just kind of had this major release today, and we launched some really cool things in the GrowthDay app, some new features that are really just, making the product better, making the experience better. But also, it's that review time, right? We just got out of the end of the year, and you might have come off this, you might have had your reviews this week, or you might be still preparing for your reviews today or through the end of the month. And then you're going to go on that vacation, that holiday, and you just be like, what was I actually doing? So we're going to talk about a couple things to help set you up for success coming into 2023. But also, y'all, it's time to get that performance edge back. If you feel like you maybe lost it, or you feel like there's another level of what you're capable of doing, we're going to talk about that today too. Here, I'm just going to keep letting people in. Welcome. And if this is your first growth group, my name is Drew Bridewell. What's up? Welcome. I'm head of product and design here at GrowthDay. I've been at the company since it was founded, and I'm just really honored and privileged, just to get to hang out with you and get to share the things that I've learned in performance management. For the last 8 years, I've been really focused heavily on this. I a little bit of a background about me before we get started and let people keep showing up. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes to get people in. So my background, I worked at lynda.com, if you ever remember lynda.com, and this was kind of like this entry point for me into just growth in general. And this was around 2014. But I had used lynda.com when I was in college, learning how to get better at software and learning how to use the tools. But joining lynda.com, I had the opportunity to start learning about how to help people grow, how to help inform behavioral change, how to really build tools, systems, and processes to really help people grow, not only by watching content, but by actually doing the work and by creating all the system and best practices outside of the actual screen. All the things that you do outside of the screen are incredibly important, right? The rituals, the habits, the systems that you're creating. And I know a lot of people on this call understand this. That's why you're here. You're here inside of GrowthDay because you value learning and growing. But the challenge is sustaining that over the long term, and also, knowing that you don't have to go at the level that maybe you're prescribed at work. You have unlimited potential, you have unlimited levels. And, a lot of the things I learned at Lynda, and a lot of things I learned at LinkedIn, and a lot of things I learned at Facebook were around how do we help people be their best? How do we help level them up so they can reach their fullest potential and then some, and not do it in a way where they're going to, just not like it themselves and not enjoy the amazing things that are out there and the amazing opportunities that we all have. So we're going to talk about a lot of that stuff today too. It's going to be good. Cool. So, hey, Melissa, welcome. Hey, Kelly, welcome. Okay, so let's just dive right into this. So we're going to first start with the first the first premise of like getting your performance edge back. The reason why I call this is we've been learning a lot about that. You're seeing a lot of companies let people go, and you're seeing a lot of, which is terrible. It's really sad to see, but there's just like the reality of it is a lot of companies hired way too many people, and they hired in a way where they just overhired and over allocated their resources and didn't really carve out to exactly what they want to do. So the things that I'm going to talk about today are to help not only prepare you if something like that was to happen, but also like prepare you so that would never happen, because you're indispensable in your role and you are always on top of the things that you need to do and the things that matter most in your position, in your role. So the first thing that I'm going to drop is number one, and I put all these things in the notes so you can actually just copy and paste this into your notes. It's in the agenda and you can just follow along. And then I'd love to just have a discussion about this. So integrating with your systems, rituals, routines, and habits. What does this even mean? Now, when I think about the integration of your systems, we engage with systems every single day. The tools that you're using were built on systems. Maybe the social media apps and things that you use were built on systems. The way that you decide to make your coffee or toast your bread or cook some breakfast in the morning, it's all system related, right? You have a series of steps that you need to follow. You do these steps and then you have an outcome, right? You're building those systems. Now when it comes to a growth system, thinking about like, well, what is the outcome of what you're trying to do? What is the outcome of, do you want to ship a new product? Do you want to start a new habit? Do you want to get super fit? Like whatever it is, you can create systems and work yourself backwards in order to achieve those things. So I want you to start thinking about, well, what are the tools right now that I'm using that support the systems that I need to create? Whether it's GrowthDay, where you can use your plan tool, come through and create systems for planning, right? That's a great opportunity there. Instead of it just being like to-do lists, it can actually be like action lists, or it can be themed lists and plans. Or if it's when you're thinking about not only the systems, but the rituals, like when are the recurring rituals that you can create that can boost your motivation and get you excited about the things that you're trying to tackle and take on. The rituals when you're starting something new aren't very clear because you're just starting something new. But when you start to see, okay, well, Monday through Sunday, I'm needing to make sure I get my kids to school on time. I got to make sure that they're fed well. I need to make sure that I have practice time. I need to make sure that I have, actual execution time so I can do the things that matter most during my work days. I need to make sure that I have time with my team. I need to make sure that I have time for myself. I need to make sure I have workout time. Like all the things that you do on a reoccurring basis throughout your life, they're based around systems. So when you can start thinking about, oh, well, what are the rituals I need to be successful? What are the systems I need to put in place? What are the routines, like the morning routines, evening routines, and maybe the team routines if you're a leader or you're a manager? What routines can I put in place to not only protect myself, but protect the team, create that harmony, create that sustained period of time where you're not just like, there's a nice ebb and flow to the work that you're doing or to the actions you're taking. And then that leads to, and what habits are you going to integrate also into your, getting your performance edge back? Now we definitely recommend the high performance habits. We have a course inside the product. It's called the High Performance Habits Builder. This is one of our Brendan's signature courses inside the platform. The cool thing about this is it breaks down all 6 of the habits. So you can go in and learn about productivity, learn about influence, learn about courage, learn about how you can build clarity and go through the practices and get after it. Now, obviously, like, there's a lot of stuff, just in this one bullet. Like, I need to think about my systems, my rituals, routines, and habits. If you've never, ever done this before, the first thing that you can do, literally in the simplest form, is get a piece of paper. Here, I'll grab a piece of paper right here. Or it's like a little note card. And what I would want you to do is write out Monday through Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And you might need a bigger sheet of paper. right? You have a big sheet of paper. And then what you would do is just fill in, what is your standard Monday through Sunday rituals? Like, what are the things you do Monday through Sunday? And you just write them out, y'all. Can you all do this for me? Like, if you've never done this, just make a note to go do this weekend, and think about, all right, well, what's my Monday through Sunday look like? Then what I want you to do is think about, and we're getting ready to do this. We're in the process of doing this pretty hardcore for our team. Is we're creating battle boards, and battle boards. Brendan has a really great course on battle boards. So it's just search on Google, search battle boards with Brendan Bouchard. And now what we're going to start thinking about is Q1, and then let's just say January, February, March, and then we have Q2. Q3, and then Q4. So I know I'm just like scribbling here, but then what I want you to think about is, well, okay, I know what my Monday through Sunday is. Let me get that to focus. But what about your Q1, January, February, March, and then Q2, Q3, Q4? Like, just taking a breath and thinking about, okay, well, what do I do every day, and what do I want to achieve in my January, February, March? And it could be like one thing. It could be two things. It could be three things. It could be 10 things. It just depends on how you process information, how you work through it. But what I want to encourage you to do is take the time to start thinking about your systems. What are your rituals during these times? What are the routines that you're going to put in place to do the things that you need to do? And what are the habits you're going to practice so that you can come fully energized, fully full of courage, full of influence, positive influence, full of productivity, getting into, the high performance habits. So there's things to think through, right? And I put a little note here. It's like, leverage what is built for you to accelerate what matters most. So right now inside the tool, like, we have reminders, we have plans, we have life scores, we have challenges, we have learning. So you might have like a really simplified Monday through Sunday operation that you do, or it could be very advanced. But if you haven't taken the time to write it down and to see and look at it, like take a step back and really look at it from like a 10,000 foot view, and then go down to, the ground level and really analyze these things and look them through, it's going to serve you like you wouldn't believe, right? Because then you have the awareness of like, okay, well, plan. What are the 5 things that I want to do, or the 3 things I want to do in January? Make a January plan, write down those 3 things, and just keep it super simple if this is your first time going through this process. And then you'll start to build up the confidence to maybe add more systems on top of it. And then there's also training on this and planning inside the Learn tool. So if you don't have courses right now on the platform, this is another opportunity for you to go up to the upgrade button, upgrade to all access. You get all the courses in the platform, and then you can just go through these trainings, go through a training every month or every week, and start building these skills. And this is also going to help you get a lot of that performance edge back if you don't typically plan. Now, I got to say, when I first started in product, in design, early in my career, I didn't plan. I was not a good planner. I just was so visual. I just wanted to create the thing that I was being tasked to do. Then I took a step back and I started learning when I started becoming like a senior designer, and I had to start managing bigger projects and leading more projects, and I wasn't being given the things that I needed to do. That's when I started planning, and when I started planning, I started seeing, oh my gosh, I'm so much better. I'm so much more intentful. I have so much more intention and just absolute strength in the things that I do, because I'm looking at them before I actually do the work. So it's like allowing you to get a little bit more intention before you do those things. Now, I have 3 other things around this, like with integrating your system tools, or systems, rituals, routines, and habits, which is pillars, which all the pillars on the GrowthDay app were built there with intention around helping you, plan better, helping you do life scores so you can benchmark and see like, oh, am I on track for how I'm feeling? Challenges is going to help you with social learning. And then we also have the community, which is like, hey, you're building something new. You have a question about something. You can just go to the community and ask the question like, hey, I'm trying to build a better habit in this, or I'm trying to get started in this, blah, 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 blah. You can write anything and just put it in there in the community and get feedback around the thing that you're trying to achieve. We will go SWAT mode on that for you. And if you don't get any responses, then just comment on there and we'll make sure we get a team in there to go jump on it. So first, I want to hear on a scale, like literally on a scale from 1 to 10, how, like 10 being like you got your systems down, you got your rituals and your routines down. Like that's a 10. Like you know exactly what you got going on every single week. And then 1 would be like you've never actually made a plan and you don't even know what I'm doing. I want you to try to put in the chat right now from a 1 to 10, where do you think you are when it comes to this first pillar of what we're talking about for, getting your performance edge back. So this is integrating with your systems, rituals, routines, and 1 to 10. Where would you put yourself? I'm going to put myself at an 8. I think I can do a lot better on this. Thanks for being honest and sharing these things. Thanks for sharing, Lacey. So this is great though, even though if the number is low, the opportunity is that what we get to do next is we get to, okay, well, what is like the first thing that I can do between now and the end of the year to make this, instead of a 2, make this a 3, make this a 4, make this into a 5, make this a 7, make this into an 8. Well, the first thing that you can do in the next 2 weeks before the new year starts is you can take the time to create a master plan. And the master plan is just like a plan of what's most important to you right now. And you got to build some clarity around what's most important to you. How are you going to want to show up through this moment? How do you want to interact with other people? What success maybe looks like in this next year for you? And then just January, like what is the theme of January? The theme of January could be anything. It could be like, I'm going to start building a better weekly rhythm for my life or a better weekly schedule for my life. So I know when I wake up, I know what I'm going to do. When I go to sleep, I know what my bedtime routine is. Like these little ingredients will help kind of recalibrate your flow in your days and your weeks and your months. So just starting that little practice. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a schedule. I'm going to create a little plan. I'm going to create some very simple morning routines, night routines, right? And we can fill in all the blanks, which is what we're about to do. So thank you for being honest. Let's keep this show going. Like we're going to get our edge back today. You know what I'm saying? All right. So that's number 1. The second thing that is maybe very simple, and it kind of leads in what I was just saying, which is plan and reminders. A lot of the time we can take for granted, like as people, we take for granted a lot of things. But one thing that's taken for granted quite often is the plan and reminder sequence and what it can do for you. Now, a reminder is a great thing because you can be reminded anything. If you have an iPhone, then you can get reminded. They have a reminders app. If you want it to be about your personal growth and development, you can do it inside of the GrowthDay app. So you can go to your plan tool, set a reminder. You can get reminded about affirmations, like things that you want to say to yourself, like mind talk, like, okay, like today I want to show up. I want to show gratitude for my wife, for my son. And that could be just one line that you have. Another one could be like, I want to give somebody on my team a shout out on Friday. So every Friday I set a reminder for Fridays. I'm going to give somebody on my team a shout out, like something I can do publicly or something I can go personally to them and give them some boost of positivity because they're awesome. Something like that. Or for myself, it might be like, you are a enthusiastic, passionate, and purpose-driven person. And those 3 words are something I get reminded of and get notified of every day at like 7 a.m. or every day at 6 a.m. And you can create any of those. I'll show you at the end how I've been structuring and setting up my plan, but I just want to get the conversation going right now. But again, you can just like navigate to the part of the tool and look at it if you're a starter, pro, or all access member. If you came in here and you don't have a subscription yet, the cheapest subscription in the platform is $49.99. It's the starter plan. It unlocks all the tools and unlocks the signature course of GrowthDay. It's called the Habit Builder series. It's worth $50 for a whole year. I'm telling you, it is. I mean, we put tons of investment in this tool. I think you'll love it. All right. So circling back to plan and reminders, I put in here setting key momentum and intention triggers. So again, with these affirmations, even though we know it's important to talk really positive thoughts to ourselves. We still don't maybe do it. So having triggers in the tool or having triggers on your phone to like tell you, like you're doing, Mondays is like Monday motivation days, or Monday is, your kickstart of your week. Whatever it is for you, those daily affirmations are going to help remind you of what it is that you really need to do. And, not like, oh, I need to go to the doctor's appointment reminder. We're not talking about those sort of reminders. Or I need to go to the dentist. Like, not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do, again, remember getting the performance edge back. We need affirmations to tell us like how awesome we are and tell us like who we are and like how we can identify and like, what kind of person do you want to be? What type of person do you want to show up as? And you're getting that confirmation from yourself. Like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. This is who I am. And then you can live in that moment. You can be in that moment and, identify like, how do you want to show up? Your interactions. How do you want to interact with your team, with your family, with your friends? Just by consciously remembering and getting that little notification and push notification about that, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to be my very particular, focused, and energetic person today. And that's who I am. And I'm good with that. And it's going to be fine. So that's how I want to interact with people. Or it's like, I'm focused. I'm a creator. I'm an innovator. I'm like, whatever it is for you, I want you to just feel confident in writing those things out and getting reminders about those things. The third one around this plan and reminders is whenever you create a plan or whenever you start a new project or whenever you kick off something new, you got to know what success looks like. I'm sure you all have heard this. What does success look like? But it's a common thing that we talk about in the user experience world, where before we start out on a project and we're going to be spending like months on this thing, we want to know what success looks like. And the same thing goes for personal growth and personal development. And to get your performance edge back, you need to know what that looks like, what success even looks like for that. Is that, going above and beyond on your projects? Is it coming prepared in your meetings and knowing exactly what you need to execute on? Is it knowing what your goals are so that you can actually work towards those goals? Like, oh, I want to get strong. Well, what does strong look like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? What is success when it comes to you saying that you want to be strong? Like, define it, write about it. You can use your growth profile. So if you go up into the navigation, click your growth profile, you can go there and write goals there. Or if you want a more of a theme base, you can go into your plan and just have items and sub items in there. All right. So from a plan of reminders, from all of you that go through your life and have plans or reminders of things, how would you say you are at actually setting reminders and planning? From a 1 being like you just don't do it at all, and you're like, what's this guy talking about? I don't want to plan. Or 10 being like you have a plan to approach your week every week. Where would you say you're currently at? And no judgment. This is a safe space, but let's talk about it. Like, where are we currently at right now? Go ahead and give me a response if you don't mind. Thank you. All right. I'm going to say like, I'm pretty like, yeah, me and Kelly, we're using the plan section every day. Cool. Nice. Okay. Great. Awesome. Okay, awesome. So, awesome job. Everybody, like, just even showing up, we're at least, we're like 4 and up, which is good, right? So what is the next level of this version of setting reminders and plans? Well, you could set up a plan in the tool that if you don't like having to go in and do checklists every single day, then what you can do is you can go to the plan and set up just like a theme of what it is that you're trying to do. Like maybe it's your weekly routine. Instead of doing like a daily routine, you could do like a weekly routine. You could also do a daily routine. And we'll keep this simple, Lacey and team, because when you're going through this, you don't want to create so many things that you have to manage. because you got to manage your mind. That's the most important thing that you're managing. So when you're creating plans and creating little systems that support you, you want to keep them at a level that you can come in, examine, reflect, and go take care of business and go take care of action. So for a weekly routine that you're setting, it might be like, what are the things that make my weeks incredible? What are the things that I love during my weeks? And I come back to this when I was doing my up on this wall over here, I have this thing. It's called the growth loop. And for my growth loop, I typically do 4 things every single week, which one is reflect, the other one is learn, the third one is like train or practice, and the fourth one is plan and take action. That, in my sense, is like my weekly routine. So I'm going to do those things every single week, and I'm going to make sure that I'm tapping into those things every single week because it makes me feel like I'm moving forward and I'm achieving something. Because you can have plans all day and you can have reminders all day, but if you're not actually feeling fulfilled and feeling like you're making achievements every week, then it's going to be really challenging to build up momentum. So start very simple, start very like high level, start with your core plans and start building up around those things. I hope that makes sense, because we can still use these reminders to just get those affirmations and start looking at them, if not every day, looking at them every week. But I would encourage you to set like the positive affirmations of like how you want to interact, how you want to show up, what success looks like, setting daily reminders for those things at a specific time through the day that you can get triggered. Or thinking about like the times of the day where you're just like feeling a little lower energy. Say it's like after lunch or after maybe after dinner or whatever. Think about those times of the day. I feel like I'm going to sneeze in a second. Think about those times in the day and create a trigger after those moments that is going to be like, hey, you're doing good, Drew. You're doing great. Or, like today might have been a tough day, but you're getting there. You're doing it. Like whatever it is that you want to write, but think about the times where you feel a little bit low, and then you can boost yourself after those times and retrain your mind to get back on track. All right, let's keep going. All right, now we're in a learn and practice regimen. So learning and practice is another thing that, if we're thinking about, okay, well, I need to know what my systems are. I need to know what my plans are. I need to understand like what I'm actually doing. And this is also a lot of the problems where, when people are losing their performance edge, is because they don't know what to do with their time. And if you don't know what to do with your time, then you're going in circles, and you may be learning something that you shouldn't be learning right now. You're not optimizing your opportunities. And the first thing that we talked about, like learning your systems, learning your rituals, routines, the Monday through Friday, like what you need to do. In order to really know what you need to do here, you got to know. I'm gonna draw her, y'all. If we were in like a workshop or something, a big board or something. So you need to know what your rocks are. And these are just like your priorities. I'm just gonna be real simple today. Rock A, rock B, rock C. They could be anything. But these are the things that you're going to put your energy towards, right? So that when you go in and you actually start doing them, you know what it is that you're pointing to. And if one of your rocks is to learn a new skill so that you can get a new job, or you can grow into becoming a UX designer, or you can be a product manager, or you want to be a better parent, whatever it is, that needs to go into your themes, that needs to go into your plan, and you need to know. Or that needs to go here, I'm sorry. And then you start filling in those things throughout the week, and you know exactly where you're going to be spending your time. And then you build a learning and practice regimen where every week or every day you're waking up a little bit earlier to be able to go and know, when am I going to train and practice this? Where am I going to do it? I'm going to do it in this spot. I'm going to grab my favorite drink. And I know that I'm going to do it by myself, or I'm going to do it with a friend, or I'm going to do it with a coworker. And you got to set the time and when you're going to do it, and you go into your calendar and you actually block it in your calendar. So on my calendar, I have like the time I wake up. So like 5 a.m. And then I have like my intention side, my morning routine. Like the first 2 hours, I don't have anything scheduled. It's all Drew time. It's me time. And I want to encourage you to do the same. And then when I tap into the next series of blocks, it's like training, practice, recording, like their themes. And the themes are important because I'm going to go fill my themes inside my schedule and make sure that I'm focused on the biggest, most needle moving priorities. Does that make sense? And when I do that, throughout that whole entire process, just like I was just talking about with my plan and my reminders, I want to know what success looks like for each of these things. Because now when I go and practice doing the thing or learning the thing, I have a really good North Star in my mind and I know why I'm going and where I'm going. I hope that makes sense. Now let me know on the chat, how many of you have a practice or learning regimen that you do every week? So on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being like I practice every week. I'm practicing and learning every week, and I know what my regimen is to do that. And 1 being like I don't have one. I don't do this. I don't practice. I don't learn. Let's be honest here again, and do a quick little reflection. 1 to 10, and let's do it now. Go. Cool. Nice, Britta. Britta, teach us to be a 10. Awesome job. All right, so Lacey, it's totally fine that you're a 1, even if you're a random learner. You're here because you're trying to practice, you're trying to learn, you're trying to grow. So I think it's important to know that when you can start circling back and structuring what these things are, like if it's want to become a UX designer, if it's want to be a UX researcher or whatever it is, then think about, okay, Mondays, and I'm going to, it could be Mondays and Fridays. Maybe those are your days to train. Circle them and just be like, okay, from 7 to 9 or 7 to 8 a.m., I'm going to do this. And if you're not a morning person, it's fine. You just pick the time. And every week, do the thing. And then you know the thing that you want to achieve, and then we can start working with our plans to make a backwards plan. A backwards plan is essentially going with what success looks like. What's the outcome? I want to become this. Okay, what are the 3 or 4 things that I need to do to become this? I need a portfolio. I need experience. I need to be able to demonstrate that I can do this. I need to get the reps in, and then you work your way back and then start tackling those things. And you know what? I say this often, but like 1% improvement every week, you'll get there in like a year or 2. And if that seems like a long time, it's not. It's not a long time. Like this is you can practice anything and slowly get there. I think it's going to be a long time if you don't have a regimen, you don't have a system in place that's going to be able to support you to be able to do this over the long period of time. And just know that if you tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell people on Growth Day that you want to learn something new and you want to practice it, this community will support you. This community will root for you, and I will root for you because like we all started at the bottom as far as our knowledge and skill base, and we worked our way up. We put it into practice. We put it in the regimen. We put in the plans. We put in the reminders. We learned how to improve these things over time, and that's what you can do to make it happen. So we got you. Not a morning person? That's fine. Let's do it in the evening. Let's go. All right, cool. Let's keep going. So we got learning and practicing going down. Now, let's talk about, okay, cool. Well, how do I figure out what these things are going to be? How do I do that? Well, what I like to do is I like to bucket things into maintenance, maintaining, advancements, and new starts. Now, there's always going to be ambition or things that you want to do that's new, right? That's a new start. There's things that you got to do to maintain your health, your wellness, your fitness, your diet, whatever. That's maintaining. Advancing is like going to the next level on the things that matter most to you. So you might be like somewhere in your career. Everybody's at a different place in their career right now. Everybody on this group, and think about okay, what am I going to advance next year in my career, in my project work, in my family life? What am I going to advance? And the word advance is not like, what new project I'm going to take on, because you could take on a gazillion new projects. That doesn't necessarily matter. What matters is the advancement in those projects. Like, what is the version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4 of those things that you're doing? Throughout an entire year, you can take on just a little bit more to get a little bit better and to start kind of making it an overall like world-class experience, whatever it is. The next level of the level that you're currently at. The next level is there, and you'll always get a little bit higher and higher and higher just the more you practice, the more you do. I often say, like, it's there's always another level, but it's up to us to achieve that in a harmonious way. It's not like we got to go work harder. We need to work smarter. We don't want to burn ourselves in the ground. We want to build cohesion and harmony and like an orchestra. That's how we want to play in our flow. And I think it's so important to create ambitious goals, things that stretch you, things that really push you a little bit. And I was just posting about this on Instagram today. It's like the biggest projects in my life, the biggest projects that I've taken on have helped me achieve like the biggest outcomes. And they were the hardest and most challenging projects, but they helped me grow the most. So when I'm taking on bigger challenges, I'm growing way more. If I'm taking on little challenges and little things, I'm not growing as much. Now, I know that could be argued probably, but like the biggest projects in my life, like were redesigns, big giant new Kickstart 0 to 1 projects and product. Those big giant projects are what really helps me grow and to build the confidence that I have today to do the things that I do today. So think about it. What ambitious goals are you going to make in 2023? And how are you going to use your plans, reminders, your practice, and your learning regimens, and the systems and the rituals and routines and habits that you form to really make them happen? And again, you have the support, you have the product, the tool, the plans, the experiences inside the tool to be able to help you do that. But you also, I have the second part of this, which is you need to align your goals with your priorities. And the priorities are like the actual things that you decide to do on a daily, even an hourly, daily, weekly basis that are going to help you level up to the actual goal. So if the goal is to do this amazing thing, how are you going to align your priorities so that when you show up every day, you know what your 1, 2, 3, 4. And Brendan does this in the High Performance Planner, if you've seen it, or in the tool. Like, what would be your 1, 2, 3, 4 things, or he would just say, top 3 priorities of the day, top 3 goals of the day, or something that like one thing that you have to finish by the end of the day. And that's what goes into the High Performance Planner. So imagine just doing that. What's one thing that you want to achieve every day that's that's an aligned priority to the goals, and that's following your bigger goals, like your Q1 goals that we were talking about at the top, right? Your Q1s in January, February, and March. And then you're just working slowly towards those things. So you're aligning your priorities with your goals. And I like to write goals: personal, passion, project, and personal, project, passion, and career goals. I like to write all those goals and make sure that I'm working towards those things every quarter. And they're aligned with the priorities that I'm focused on. So from a 1 to 10, how many of you have set goals for 2023? And you could just say like yes or no. Have you set goals for 2023, and are you excited about them? Have you kind of built some momentum and excitement about the new things that you're going to achieve and accomplish in 2023? Let's go. How many people have done that? I'm going to say yes. Okay, cool. I want to see all yeses. Come on, bring them if it's okay. Yes. Okay, awesome, Paul. Yes. Okay, totally fine, that you haven't finished. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Look at this. And the thing is, and it's okay if you haven't. The thing is, these goals and these things, remember, you have support. Share your goals with your friends, your family, your loved ones, your teammates. Share those goals, even if it feels uncomfortable to share them because they're personal. Maybe don't share all your personal goals, but share your goals with the people that care about you the most, because they are going to be able to support you through the year. And again, if you're using the product, please share them in the community too. Be like, I'm getting my performance edge back. These are my goals for the year, and and then check in quarterly, or check in with yourself. And I did just announce that I'm going to do, at the first of the year, I'm going to do a growth group for 12 consecutive weeks, because today we launched a new feature in the app called recurring growth groups. This allows you to schedule recurring growth groups inside of the tool. So for coaches and instructors, they can have consecutive scheduled growth groups in the product, which is cool because it's more of like a series. And you can have a so you can really, this is going to be at the same time every week. And we've been working really hard to bring this out. And I'm going to be doing one starting in January on Thursdays to just really build up the momentum in January, February, March. And this is going to be a lot of fun. So hope to see you there. All right. So back to business. We're doing the ambitious goals and aligned priorities, right? Got to have alignments, because if you are working on a lot of really important things, but they're not aligned to your goals, then you're doing them for somebody else and not for yourself, right? You're not doing the things that are aligned to your truest self, your holistic self. So really take stock in writing your own goals and making sure that you're aligned on what those things are. Okay, the last pro tip for today is anticipation and visualization. Anticipation and visualization. These things have been so true in my sports background and my sports history. When I played sports, I was a catcher, so anticipating where the ball's going to go, anticipating the ball in the dirt, anticipating where the pitcher who's throwing like 95 miles an hour, where it's going to go, because it's going to hurt my hand if I catch it a certain way. To how we train, to how we practice, to how we show up for our team, to how we benefit and help figure out the needs of our team so we can serve them better when they're showing up for us. Anticipating is going to help elevate you in this coming year. So if you don't anticipate the things that are coming at you, or the things that could come at you, then you're missing an opportunity because you're not preparing. And anticipation is really tied to preparation. Like, how are you preparing for the moment? So for the goals in New Year, right, you're doing this just by being in the session, by figuring out, half of you had plans. Most of you had plans. Most of you had learning regimens. Most of you had ambitious goals and priorities and things that you're working towards. And then the number one thing that we talked about in the beginning was integrating your regimens, your systems. That's something that will get better and better and better as you are aware of it, as you have intention in it. What are your rituals for your team? You might be joining a new team next year. You might have a new project priority list and different things. So you have to figure out your new routine. You have a new thing that came up with your family. Oh, you got to shift things. You have new priorities. Oh, shift things. Reestablish rituals, routines, your habits when things come into your life. And we're humans, right? So a lot of things will come into our life and then we'll have to switch and pivot. But if you know how to kind of rearrange and then come back in and create your systems and your plans, your rituals, routines, and habits, then you can go in and execute your plans or reminders. You can go in and learn and practice continuously. You can go in and execute those goals and crush. And then the anticipation and visualization is like this whole other realm of like, okay, I'm going to visualize what success looks like. I'm going to feel it. I know what it looks like, so I know what it's going to take for me to get to that point. And if you don't know what it's going to take, then you get support, you get mentorship, you get coaching, because they're going to help you envision that future. They're going to help you advance towards those dreams, ambitions, desires that you really want, so that you can connect to your greatest intention and your intuition, right? Because when you're thinking about what you're visualizing, what you want, you have to go within and talk and like hear yourself. You have the power of intuition. You're human. And that's an incredible ability, because that's going to allow you to tap into like who you are as a person, what you want, what you desire. And that's a beautiful thing. The second thing is like envisioning the future state and then working backwards, right? I talked about that with planning, but if you can actually think about, okay, well, like for me, I want to have a championship team. I want to have the best product and design team and the best personal development app in the world. Like, I geek out about it. I love it. I just want it to be amazing. Like, I see an issue, I want to solve it. If I see a way that could be better, I want to solve it. I want to go work on it. I'm visualizing that. I want that to happen. I just want everybody to have that hope that they can make things happen in their life, and they can have support and tools and community to be able to do it. And, and envisioning the future is sometimes a really challenging thing to do. It's sometimes really challenging. But you know what? There's a journal in the tool that's going to help you with these prompts that can also give you that little trigger to get back in and be like, oh, I didn't even think about that way. Oh, and then that's one of the beautiful thing about the journal is because, like, yeah, you have a blank journal and you don't really know what to write about. But if you have the journal inside the tool, you're actually thinking about, well, how could I make this a little bit better? And then the questions are just going to ask you that, and then you can figure out how to answer them, which is pretty cool. And then the last thing here with anticipating and visualizing is filling the gaps and improving the system. So we started with systems and just learning what those systems and rituals and routines are. But then it's like being very observant with your surroundings. And being very observant in your surroundings, what does that look like? So you have, your schedule every day. You have the things that you're trying to move forward, right, with your rocks. And when you're going in and looking at your schedule, you have meetings already booked on your calendar. You have things that you are going to just do. Maybe you don't, maybe you do. And the next step of this is to be very observant with how you're showing up in those moments and what gaps are there right now in those moments. Now, I was also a linebacker in high school with football. And when there was a big hole in the line, you had to fill that gap. It's like it was something we practiced so much where we would just like fill the gap. And when we see it, we would know that we need to fill the gap. And this is the same thing. When you see gaps in your process, in your team's process, in the flow of what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to do, fill the gap, or observe how you could fill the gap, or ask for help on how to fill the gap. But don't let the gap keep happening, because it will get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when you have more people on your team, or you have more gaps, more problems, less gaps, strong stability, strong formations, strong systems, strong platforms. And I want you to fill the gaps that you have maybe in your life, or fill the gaps that you maybe have with your weekly routines and the flow of what you're trying to do. And that's going to be a really beautiful thing for you. And then on the second part of that, the systems that you create, or the systems you make or design, like, you get to architect those. And if you need a little bit more support on how to architect those systems, like those, other styles of, you can go back through all the past live events in the platform, and oh my gosh, I've watched every live event in the system, and it's so fascinating because all of our coaches that come into the platform, they have very diverse perspectives, but you can kind of see like, you can see the energy is different for each of the coaches. But the powerful thing is, everybody has a system for how they improve something. Like, even me just going through these 5 topics, these are things that I've learned that really help maintain, sustain, and elevate a performance edge in what you do. I've just been blessed to work with some really crazy high performers, and just pros at what they do day in and day out. And the pros do these things naturally. They do these things, they work on them, and they know they need to do it in order to continuously flow and continuously succeed and to continuously win and be championship team. So, the improvement of the systems is always going to be a recurring thing. So I want to like pause there, leave it at that. Those are some really important things. So in this workshop, right? So we broke down those 5 opportunities to get your performance edge back. What I want you to do right now is I want you to head over into, you can choose the journal, you can choose the plan. And I want you to go into those tools here, and I'm actually going to head over there right now, and I'm going to share my screen. I just want to make sure, can you all still hear me? My headset just kind of tweaked a little bit. Just want to see if you can still hear me. So Kelly, my growth group is in there. So if you just want to go, because I don't know what time zone you're in, but if you want to just go and check that out, you'll be able to see. Let's go, Bray. Okay, cool. You can hear me still. All right, so I'm going to go and, okay, I can share my screen. Nothing too sensitive here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to minus this down. All right. So what you're seeing right now is a look into my plan. All right. And inside this, I made a little Operation Holiday Spirit plan. Of course I did. And I was doing this last week because I was like, okay, I want to make this holiday so cool. And I was thinking about, during this break, we're going to be off on holiday for a couple of weeks, right? The team gets to take a vacation, takes holiday, and I'm thinking about like, okay, what am I going to do? Well, I'm thinking about, the couple things that I absolutely love more than anything in the world is building and creating things. I love it so much. So we're building like studios and Roblox. We're doing, or building like worlds in Roblox studio. We're doing training. We're getting strong. We're getting ready for the next season of soccer. I have a 12-year-old, so it's like we get to do a lot of that stuff. Family's going to be coming in to North Carolina, which is cool. So I'm thinking about, okay, like what are all the activities? And look, I have like 14 activities of things we can do. So, and I want to show this because just this intention reminded me that, okay, there are so many things that we can do during this break. We can go to the Biltmore, we can go to the Arboretum, we can build in studio, we can hike, we can walk, we can go soccer, we can work out, we can do games, basketball, foursquare, bowling, rock climbing, snowboarding, and skiing, and then hot springs. Dang, sounds like a sweet list, right? But inside of this, inside the GrowthDay tool, like I'm going to set right now a daily reminder at 9 a.m. to check in with this epic list. So I'm going to have these family activities reminding me every day during this break at 9 a.m. that I have so many opportunities of things. So I'm going to check in with the family, make sure, see what they want to do, see what they feel. Maybe they want to sleep in. Maybe they want to do different things. So I'm going to be ready to go on those. Same thing with like building projects Drew, building projects Jamie, building projects Jude. These are my crew. Like what things do they want to build and do and create during this holiday break? It might just be like hang out with me, hang out with family, do things, but I want to take that to another level with them. And then there's going to be things that we do just me and Jude and things that I do just me, Jude, and Jamie. So that's going to be important. But that level of intention is where I like to go because I want it to be awesome. I want it to be awesome. And I want to encourage you to like go down that level as well. Let me see here. Let me see if I can go to November intention because I don't want to. Okay, yeah. So that was like, here, let me stop sharing for a second. I'm going to look in my plan too, but I want you to go into your plan and think about like, what is one thing that you could be doing right now that is going to set you up for the momentum that you really desire and really want. So you can go into your plan, create plan. It's up in the top left of the plan. And you could be like January. It could be January. It could be performance edge. We could call it performance edge, and you could write down the 5 things that we talked about today, which, as a reminder, we talked about integrating your systems, rituals, routines, and habits. We talked about plan and reminders. We talked about learning and practice regimen. We talked about the ambitious goals and with aligned priorities. We talked about anticipating and visualizing what those things look like. So you could write those things down inside of a December or January plan and then write down like 2 to 3 things that you're going to do to improve those things. If you had low numbers or low scores, right? That is practice. That counts as practice. That counts as learning. That counts as development. And let me see if I can. Oh yeah, here I'll show you one more. Sorry, I just got to make sure I'm not sharing like sensitive information. So this is a daily plan, and the daily plan is cool because the daily plan are things that like I just get in the habit of doing every day, which again, this is what I would consider a routine, a daily routine. So the top 3 priorities of the day, and just knowing what those things are. You can write them out on a piece of paper. People or person I need to reach out to, maybe it's family, maybe it's a teammate, maybe it's like, who is the people I need to follow up with today? The other one is like what mindset, when we talk about visualizing and, what success looks like, the visualization of what you're doing, that's tied to your mindset. And then if you need a little bit more positive affirmations, right, set those reminders in the app, and then you can get those reminders about like, hey, and I'll show you my reminders in a second. Yeah, that's a good thing to show. Here, I'm going to move this over. And then what's one thing I'm grateful for? What are some of my meditation practices or things that I just need to like calm my mind, release some tension, get a little zen? What's my fitness look like? And then, like I said down here, integrate rituals, routines, and high performance habits. Let's go. That's so good. All right, let me go to reminders here. So in Reminders app, you can create any set of reminder, right? You can set a reminder. You can write, like I have some examples that were already preset. Like this one was consistent, passionate, courageous. These are like my 3 words for how I want to show up. Another one, I have like a bracelet that says, create. Let me see if you can see it. Let me see. Nope, maybe not. Oh, it says create. It's like a My Intent bracelet, myintent.org. And you can write one word on these bracelets and you can put it on. So one of my words is create, harmony, and then model that behavior. Another example, fly like an eagle. Yeah, let's go. So this other things. So when they show up in your reminder list, it's like just things you can do. Like I even love this one right here, like gratitude time for Jamie and I got reminded about this morning. So it's every morning, 8:45 a.m. We end up taking Jude to school like around, and this is his last day of school today, but we take him to school around 9 o'clock, like 9:15. But I get this notification, and I can think about like when we're driving the car, like, hey guys, I'm so grateful for you, and this is why I'm grateful for you. And just that little trigger and reminder, because we have a lot of things going on. We got Christmas music on in the car. We got different things happening. But these sorts of little affirmations or reminders are what's building that muscle memory for you to naturally do these things on a recurring basis. The same thing goes for the things that you need to do for your team, family, loved ones, whoever. All right, so I hope that's super helpful. And you can create your plans for all sorts of things. All sorts of things. Oh my gosh, there's just so many examples of things that you can be setting reminders for. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to come back to the growth group here. And I know we just have like 1 minute left. So y'all, if there's like one thing that you got out of today, I'd love for you to either put it in the chat or go to the community section or go back and comment on our growth group today. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you got fired up about how you can get your performance edge back this upcoming year. And I'm just super honored and blessed that you spent the time with me today. I love you. I love you all. Like, let's go. Kelly, I do not create one every day because it's repetitive. So I end up using the same plan for my daily planner, and I just follow the systems. And I keep it high level like that because I don't want to create multiple effort of work for me to have to go check and uncheck things every single day. I have one plan and I go get it going. Like reduce the complexity in your life. Reduce and simplify the things that matter most to you. Go have fun out there. Crush this upcoming season. Happy holidays if you celebrate Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. All the things that you like to celebrate. Let's go. We have 20 seconds left. Oh yeah. Love it. Simplify, reduce. Let's go, Kelly. Y'all have a beautiful rest of your day. And I will see you in the next growth group. Go check them out in the Learn section. We got a great community for you. And I'll see you in the next one. Later.